trustworthy voice.
Hey, what's going on, people? I'm about to turn this crazy radio off.
Kind of relationship with a lot of very senior
Bullshit.
Russian
Nothing but bullshit in this world. Nothing getting done right. Hey, happy Friday to you. It is May the 4th. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. Apparently, Cinco de Mayo means a whole lot of things other than what we're told they mean. So, for those that it has value, okay. I've received some music, so I want to talk a little bit about it, but I want to kind of give a caveat. Yes, these glasses, it's just the way I am. You know, since I got those other glasses, I've lost them. So, you know, not a problem wearing taped glasses. As I told you a while back, Bob Burnside sent me the Monkees album, and he sent me another CD of his music. And he said he didn't really want me to review, but I just want you to know, Bob, that this one, Novenars, Bob Burnside Novenars is the one most enjoyable so far of what you've sent to me. I'll just leave it at that. This has been the one that I put it on. It's the most enjoyable right away. I received another CD from a musician I see online, Ian Beabout, and he has a project called Coloratura, Unfamiliar Skies. Some people I know play on this, but I want to tell you, Ian, that I got to come back to this. I want to be encouraging. When I put it on, I like it, but at the same time, some critical things come up right away, and I would like to be more encouraging than to make a video that's focused on my criticism. So what I mean is, I think I need to give this more time to settle in so that I can hear it beyond the things that stick out to me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Thank you for sending this to me. Coloratura, Unfriendly Skies. It is Prague, and some of you would probably like it. I'll leave a link so you can look it up. I will review it later, but I want to be encouraging rather than talk about the things that you know what I mean? Yeah, I need to get comfy with this. A few days ago, I received a package unexpectedly from Roger, another VC member who lives in Nebraska. And apparently when he was doing Record Store Day buying, he thought of me. Thank you, you didn't have to, because he bought me something and sent it to me. And it's wonderful. Roger, thank you. And I highly recommend this release. Lara JiSun Transformations. Lara Ji, the musician who is known for playing the dulcimer and doing it in a really ambient, flowing, spatial way. He became known to the larger public through his collaboration with Eno on the Day of Radiance CD. I have it over here. I probably should have pulled it, huh? Let me see if I can grab it right quick. Can I? Oh, shit. No. See, it's back in a corner here. Anyway, this is real spacey and trippy as well. These are remixes, okay? Remixes of his stuff. Any of the remixers' names jump out to me? Dantel, Larry Mizell, Ross G, Mia Doi Todd. So some interesting people. Benjamin Tierney, Daniel Gibbons. So some interesting people reworking his material on here. I would say that I love it, and it goes from being similar to Sea Feel to Future Sound of London, at times sounding a little bit like Yellow Magic Orchestra, and then other times sounding like nothing else. This is really good, and thank you, Roger, for sending it. I highly recommend this, Lara Ji. Also, I'll mention that back in the 90s, I was involved in a group here in Omaha called the Healing Arts Council, and we brought Lara Ji to Omaha for a workshop, a laughter meditation workshop, and a concert. So I got to meet him and hang out with him for a few days. I got to record with him here in this room, actually. I did reach out to him to see if I could release it. It's just a jam, but it actually turned out good, but I never heard back from them. So thank you, Roger, for this, and this is my recommendation. Lara JiSun Transformations. He also sent a couple of cheapies that he probably picked up for $1 or less, and I appreciate them. Let me just try to pull them so I can tell you about them. Let me just keep going here and in this pile, and then I'll just do it like that. I do watch traffic in the record collecting groups on Facebook a lot. That to me is fun. You know, it's just, you can look and then leave, you know what I mean? You don't have to get into deep conversations. Really not interested in that except in real person. I just like to look at people's records and kind of fantasize, you know? And Chris Cole was talking about this guy, and I realized, hey, I've got those. Paul Hagen with Paul Sihon, Whispers in the Wind. There's the name if you can see it. Whispers in the Wind. It's on a small label that's gone called Inner Light, one of those new age labels. This is, most of their releases were good. There's one that I have for sale that's just, it's like, anyway, this is the one. This is droney and ambient and cool and not treacly. And here's another one, Enlightened Sector. It's Paul Hagen with Stefan Kukurugia. Same label. If you see these, and if you see them, they're going to be cheap, you know. Buy them. This is good music. Carm, definitely. If you don't have these, definitely. I'll keep going in this pile until I come to the other records that Roger gave me. Pulled this, hadn't played it forever. Jeff Beck Group. It's back when he was like, you know, doing more of an R&B thing than anything else. And the first, and also with Cozy Powell on drums. I always thought it was interesting how Cozy Powell and Jeff Beck are almost like doppelgangers. They do look a lot alike. And I liked the grit that they created together. I like this album. Yeah, nothing earth-shattering, but just really good. I believe if James, if you're watching in England, you sent this to me. Is your nephew on this or someone you know? Ipman, depatterning. Really enjoyed this the other day. Techno bass, drum and bass is involved here. Electronic. As you can see with the art, it is very much about the repetition of patterns and weaving of sounds. Very enjoyable for those that like their electronic. Ipman, I recommend this. Depatterning, yeah. It's always a good thing when I put something on and I find myself listening, and the next thing you know, I'm wondering, what is that? What am I listening to? As opposed to wanting to take it off. And that's what happened to this. This came out in 2015. I forgot who I was listening to, was getting into it, and then I played more of it. Good stuff, James. Thanks for sharing it with me. On my radio show yesterday, Rhythm Electric Jazz, I featured a bunch of Weather Report. Well, not a bunch, actually. Because I had pulled their first album. I hadn't played it in forever. And if I had a wish, I wish that this could be remastered, re-engineered, not well remastered, but also I wish it could be re-engineered. The mix on this is really, really MIDI, not enough bottom end at all. But what a start for a band. What a beautifully visionary album this was. And I saw this version of Weather Report. I saw the first version of Weather Report live. Neither Eric Gravatt nor Alfonso Muzan was on drums when I saw them. I saw them with Greg Errico, the original drummer from Sly and the Family Stone. He was sitting in on the tour, and he was fantastic. He nailed it down. It's like, yeah. Another album that I just love, and I've been playing this repeatedly because I just love it so much. Crosswinds by Billy Cobham. The first side is just fantastic. Spanish Moss, a sound portrait. It's a sweet, excellent album. jazz, rock, fusion, whatever. This is a bootleg reissue of a highly collectible Japanese rock album. Live Life, Love, Live Life, +1. The +1 is they did this album with a well-known singer in Japan. Love Will Make a Better You. This is wild, scratchy, and on the edge. It's like there's the old style jamming that you set things up on to do things, and it goes up and down. But what I hear is like this whole notion of doing this, it sounds like it's brand new to these people. And that's what I mean, you know. It's just wild and weird and cool. But the word wild is like, I mean, kind of raw at times. A keyboardist who I love, and I wish I had more of his records on vinyl, was in this band. Hiro Yanagita. Great player. Here's an album I forgot I owned. Bought this so long ago. Bought it back in the 70s. Michael Urbanek, Constellation in Concert. Polish jazz violinist. Excellent. This is an excellent performance. Excellent album. Fusion. Someone had wrote that they thought that what I was searching for when talking about Gianmarco Langori's music is fusion. No. I know what I think fusion is. And his music doesn't strike me as fusion. It strikes me as what I was grasping at, something else. This to me is lands in fusion. Vendela Beck, Solar Flares. He wrote a lot of soundtracks. For some reason, when I listen to this album, the guy from, it's been a while since I've seen, I think he's out of the I can't think of his name. But he comes to mind when I listen to this. Was a really knowledgeable guy from Australia who was making videos for a long time. Can't even think of his name. That's bad, isn't it? I haven't had enough coffee. Sakamoto, one of my favorites. B2 Unit. Read an article online about the single from this, Riot in Lagos, being seen by some as a game changer in dance music. Well, I always thought, like, I think I said something about this. Yeah, this is way ahead of the times. Great stuff. Sakamoto, one of my favorites. Finally listened to this all the way through, because I never did. Peter Gabriel's album of covers of other people's songs, Scratch My Back. His approach to the songs is very intimate and somber and slow moving, and so it's like I have to slow down and be in the mood. Now, I love Peter Gabriel, and he used to be one of my central go-tos for music. I would play, when he'd make an album, I would play it obsessively for weeks. That was a long time ago. Excuse me. So I finally got around to settling in on this, and this is wonderful. I don't immediately recognize who these songs are by, and looking at the titles, I don't necessarily know who they're by, even though I probably do. I'll just say that Peter Gabriel is a treasure. Here we go. So Roger sent these $1 records along with the Lara JiSun. MC 900 Foot Jesus with DJ Zero. I'm Going Straight to Heaven. This was from the 90s. This is a 12-inch single. I remember this well. When MTV's 120 Minutes would play this was a highlight, you know. This was the sort of thing I was looking for. Just anything that's different. And this is cool, you know. Some of you know it. Another one that takes me back to the 90s or the early 2000s. This was on the Asphodel label, Drum and Bass, Bizarre. And this reminds me of that show that used to be on MTV called AMP. Did you guys watch that show? This definitely sounds dated, but I'm glad to have it, and it was worth one spin. It's interesting how music sounds dated after a while, some of it, you know. But some of the things they were doing here is kind of like they were chasing a trend. It's not bad, but it sounds dated. Okay. You know, there's a lot of controversial things going on in the world, and I don't know that it will do me any good to weigh in on them. The world is just really in sad, sad shape. Even though statistically we're living in a time of supposedly the least amount of dangerous crime and murder, and I do think that's correct. And yet the times is because of politics and because of the great imbalance of wealth, just things are just really strange. Okay, we're all living our daily lives. Some of us are oblivious to what I'm talking about. Some people have it so good that they don't know what I'm talking about. And there's the rest of us who are double hustling all the time just to keep the lights on. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's worth bringing up and not always telling jokes, trying to avoid thinking about reality. The avoidance factor is why things is a big reason why things keep getting worse. Is if you just make a joke about it and try to laugh it off or excuse it away, well, we can't change anything.